So global versus local, actually you heard a lot about it in the previous presentation, and I think it was really interesting to hear an attitude, a kind of willingness to kind of start something or acquire something or build something in emerging markets. This is partly related to Singapore and partly not, in that it is so possible today to launch global companies from anywhere in the world that don't get tricked into thinking if you're in a startup right now that your market is the Singapore market or the Malaysian market or whatever. The market is the world market, and you should think about that early. But at the end of the day, all companies get started in a place. They get started locally, and as you start to think about who you want to work with and who you want on your board and where you want to raise money and things like that, all companies are local to some degree, and I think it is figuring out the right balance. I think a really unique thing about this country is the ability to use it as a test market for the rest of the developed world, certainly, and figuring out how to make that happen if you're in a startup, how you try something out in a school here and then take it to another country is something that not a lot of people have the opportunity to think about, and that opportunity is should not be missed by entrepreneurs who are out there today. You've got to really think hard about how to do that. Failure plus resilience equals success. I think this is actually a really, really hard thing for entrepreneurs to deal with. And the story that I told someone yesterday, but that's worth thinking hard about if your kid wants to be an entrepreneur or if you're starting the process. I think most people in here have probably heard of the company Twitter. It was started by this guy named Evan Williams. It's going to likely get acquired for $1 billion in the next year. And that's Evan's 14th company, and he's had 13 non-successes. So it took him 14 tries to get to this company. He's still a relatively young guy, but the amount of resilience and perseverance and energy it takes to fail, really fail 13 times, and then go back and start something else. I think it's a really hard thing to foster. I think the entrepreneurs who are successful do a great job at forgetting all their failures and only remembering their successes, which is a pretty natural thing to do. But I think there is very, very little success that just happens like you imagine it does in the school system, where you do the right thing the first step, and then you do the second step and the third step, and then you have a billion-dollar company. I think the ability to invent, readjust, change directions is something that is very tough to fit into a formal curriculum, but it is something that is absolutely, people talk about it at home. You can foster that environment for your kids, and you can create some of it in school systems, and it should not be undervalued as a real driver of at least certainly the U.S.'s kind of experience with entrepreneurship. But I think we're a long way from having something like a science of startups where you actually can kind of predict success before it happens. So to get there, you're going to have a lot of tolerance for supporting people on their second and third time, I think. And the last thing is, this is one of these things where I went to business school at Harvard, and I always tell people, I can save you $300,000, and you don't have to go to Harvard Business School if you just know two things. And one of them is that money is never, ever the problem. It's like you can hear it all day long, but it is about people, and it is about teams, and everything else follows that. And I could probably tell you until I'm blue in the face up here, and you're not going to believe it, but if you go live somewhere like Harvard Business School for 2 years, you really do believe it when you come out. And there is a talent pool here that is amazing, and there happens to be a lot of money here also, but I think it's easy to get distracted with the money because that's a tangible thing that people can grab onto. And at the end of the day, if people took this, and I'm going to have one more slide about this actually, if people took the idea really seriously from the beginning that it's about who you work with, who is on your board, who is your advisor, who is your mentor, and who you go to ask questions and kind of begin to build your ideas in your business, we would have much, much more fast failure, so the dumb ideas would get killed, and much, much more early success, I think, because I think it takes a lot of entrepreneurs 5 or 10 years into building their company before they really figure out that, oh, I need this guy on my board, or, oh, I need this person kind of helping me because they've been there and done that. So I'm not going to be at all prescriptive to the entrepreneurs in the room, except for this one thing, because if you do it, it will solve so many problems. You can send me a thank you letter later. But if you will, from the very beginning of wanting to start a company or wherever you are in your company's life, build a list of the 10 people in the world who can help you be successful. And that process is not an easy one. It is not, those are not the people that you would think, because just because Bill Gates built Microsoft does not mean that he's the guy to help you build your company. There are 10 people out there, though, in the world who can help you build your company. Some of them may be here, some of them may be elsewhere. It doesn't really matter. They're all accessible. If you contact this group of people, you will be shocked and amazed at how many of them will be willing to help you. It is amazing when you call somebody who's running a manufacturing company in Arkansas in the United States and say, hey, I really think I've got a great idea for a way to improve this manufacturing process, and I think you're one of the 10 guys in the world who could help me really make a difference. They will be so flattered and they will be so excited to help you if you have an interesting idea. So the caveat there is, if it's a really dumb idea, you're going to find out really quick it's a dumb idea, because if you think they're the 10 smartest people in the world and they all tell you you're crazy, you may be crazy. And so I would just say I find myself not doing this when I know that I should be doing it. But if you made this the first part of the process for kind of getting going with a new company, and really don't contact them and say, hey, nice to meet you, can I put you on my advisory board? Figure out how to use them. I mean, there's a reason that they made it on your list. And so not all of them will be available or willing to help, but some portion of them definitely will. And they will save you an enormous amount of time and energy. I guarantee you, for some kind of aspiring, getting going entrepreneurs in this room, someone on their top 10 list is in this room. And so find that person before you leave today, and don't just drop it. Don't leave it. Make sure to follow up. It is an unbelievably powerful tool to watch how quickly you can learn from others when you're getting going with something like this. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. This is my contact information, which is always a little bit high risk to put up here because it'll take me forever to get back to you, but I will get there. If you direct message me on Twitter, it's probably the easiest way to find me. I help a lot of people who are just getting going with companies find their top 10 list and match make and really help them get running. And so if there are people out there who are looking for a place to get started there, I am almost definitely not on anyone's top 10 list, so don't get tricked into thinking that, but I can help you find yours. So anyway, please shoot me an email, whatever. Thanks so much for having me, and I think I'm going to be right back up here on a panel in a second. So thank you.